I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life.
잘 보이고 잘 들리죠? 자, 우리 지난주 어떤 내용이 있었죠? 중퇴했기 때문에 일반 정규 수업은 들을 필요가 없어서 우리 캘리그라피하는 캘리그라피 아까 말씀했었던 그 예쁜 서체 수업 들었죠? 그래서 정말 배우고 싶었다까지 나왔고 오늘 내용 들어갈게요. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces. 여기 I learned about. 자, 저는 배웠습니다. 뭐에 대해서 배웠나 볼게요. 여기 눈으로 봤더니 about 일, about 이. 여기 딱 보이죠? 세 번째. 자, serif and sans serif typefaces. 자, 우리 세리프체하고 산세리프체라는 우리 글씨체 많이 봤죠? 요거는 타입에 대한 얼굴이죠. 그래서 이거 글씨체입니다. 뭐에 대해 배웠냐면 세리프체하고 산세리프체 글씨체를 배웠대요. 그래서 아까도 올려줬지만 세리프는 이런 글씨체고 산세리프체는 약간 끝에가 이렇게 된 거예요. 이런 글씨체를 배웠습니다. 이분이 정규 수업 말고 못 들으니까 그 캘리그래프라는 글씨체를 배웠잖아요. 거기서 이런 글씨체를 배웠대요. 자, 컴마 나오고요. About varying the amount of space between different letter combinations. 또 뭐에 대해서 배웠나 볼게요. 자, vary는 다르게 하다. 여기 V-A-R-Y-V. 자, 다르게 하다. 다르다. 라는 뜻이 있어요. 그래서 이렇게 varying 나왔다는 얘기는 about처럼 전치사가 있으면 뒤에 명사꼴로 바꿔줘요. varying the amount of space. 공간의 양을 다르게 하는 그 글자의 공백 있죠. 그 글자 간의 공백에 그 공백을 다르게 하는 걸 배웠대요. 이게 무슨 말이냐면 예를 들어 잘 못 쓰지만 캘리그래피 이렇게 막 꽃길 우리 꽃길만 걷자 할 때 꽃이라는 글자와 길자란 글자하고 사이에 똑같이 쓰는 게 아니라 이만큼 공간 남죠? 요 공간 남죠? 가까이 붙었죠? 이렇게 글자 서로 간의 그 공백을 varying 다르게 하는 거 그거에 대해 배웠다요. Between different letter combinations, different 다른 letter 글자 combination 조화. 그 다른 글자 간의 조화 사이에서의 그 공백을 다르게 하는 거에 대해서 배웠대요. 그리고 about what makes great typography great. 자, 무엇이 만들었을까? 그 멋진 typography는요. 글자를 예쁘게 디자인한 걸 말해요. 그냥 글씨체라고 말해도 되는데 글자를 좀 디자인적으로 예쁘게 만든 거 그걸 타이포그래피라고 해요. 그렇게 멋진 타이포그래피를 이게 오형식 동사네 어떻게 멋지게 무엇이 만들 수 있는가에 대해서 배웠대요. 자, it was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle. 자, 그것은요, beautiful, 아름다웠고, historical, 역사적이었고, artistically subtle, 여기 B는 묵음입니다. 되게 예술적으로 정교했습니다. 그래서 subtle은요, 정교한, 정밀한이라는 뜻입니다. 자, 이것이 뭘까요? 그 캘리그래피 글자체 그 얘기하는 거겠죠? 그 캘리그래피 글자체가 되게 아름다웠고, 역사적이었고, 예술적으로도 아주 정밀하고 정교했대요. 근데 어떤 방식으로인가 볼게요. 뒤에 in a way that science can't capture. 자, 어떤 방식으로 이건 방식이죠. 어떠한 방식으로 그렇게 아름답고 역사적이고 그렇게 예술적으로 정교했는지 어떠한 방식으로 그랬냐면요. that science can't capture. 과학이 can't capture. capture는 잡아내다, 포획하다, 포착하다 이런 얘기죠. 그래서 한 잡아내다라고 해서 그 정도 하면 좋을 것 같아. 자, 과학이 뭐 잡아낸다? 아니면 따라잡다? 이렇게 하면 될 것 같아요. 과학이 따라잡을 수 없는 그런 방식으로 되게 아름답고 역사적이고 예술적으로 정교했습니다. And I found it fascinating. 자, 그리고 나는요, 발견했어요. 자, 이 found는 발견하다라는 말도 있고요. 알게 되다, 그렇구나라고 알게 되다라는 말도 있습니다. 그리고 나는 어떻게 알게 되었냐면, 그것이 fascinating, 되게 매력적이구나라고 알게 되었대요. 그것은 아까 말했던 그 캘리그래프 그 글씨체겠죠. 그것이 정말 매력적이구나라고 알게 되었습니다. None of this, 이것 중 어느 것도 none이 이게 부정어죠. 부정어가 맨 앞에 나오면 이 뒤에 문장은 전체가 부정어예요. 자, 이것 중 어느 것도 내가 배웠던 이런 글씨체들 있죠. 센세리프, 세리프 아니면 타이포그래피 이런 많은 글씨체를 배웠잖아요. 그런 것들 어느 것도요. Had even a hope of any practical application in my life. 희망이죠. 어떤 일말의 희망도 앞에가 부정이니까 없었습니다. 뭐에 대한 일말의 희망도 없었냐면 어떤 practical, 실질적인 application, 우리 apply 뭐 지원하다 이런 말 들어봤죠. application은 적용이란 말도 있고 지원이란 말도 있고 도움이란 말도 있어요. 여기서는 실질적인 도움, 실질적인 내 삶의 적용에 일말의 희망도 없었습니다. 내 인생에. 내가 배웠던 게 정말 내 삶에 도움이 될 수 있을까? 뭐 적용할 수 있는 게 있을까? 이런 게 일말의 희망도 없었다고 합니다. 저는 여기까지 하면 될 것 같아요.
Alrighty, here we go. Okay, now this word, can you guys hear me? Okay, so I'm gonna say
serif.
okay, serif. Mm.
Chris?
Can you hear me?
Yes?
Okay, hold on. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Can you see me now? Okay, so everybody, this time I want everybody to read once together. So unmute 하고, Julie, unmute, and then we're gonna all read once together. Julie, unmute. Julie. Good. 자, 다시 모두 한꺼번에 하루 한 번 쫙 읽어보자. 첫 문장. Okay, let's go.
I
Learned about serif and serif typefaces
about
varying
the
amount
amount
of
of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great.
Okay, good job. Okay, so okay, now this time I'm gonna have you, John, read. Okay. Oh, I cannot hear you. Oh, you're unmuted, but I still cannot hear you. Okay, go.
I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great.
Okay, so let me just go do this. Typeface.
Typeface.
Typography.
Okay. You heard that? Okay, good. Let's go. Good. So here, serif, sans serif, typefaces, and varying amount of space between different letter combinations about what makes great typography great. Okay, great typography great. So Julie.
I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great.
Okay. typography 해봐. typography.
Typography.
typography. typography.
Typography.
typography. graphy.
Typography.
Yeah, typography가 아니고 graphy. typography.
Typography.
그렇지. typography. 이게 짧은 뒤는 짧아야 돼. 그래서 typography. 다시 한번.
Typography.
And Dial, can you say typography?
Typography.
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 Okay. typefaces.
Typeface.
typefaces.
Typefaces.
Okay. Serif and
typography.
typography. 해봐.
Typography.
Yeah, typography.
Typography.
Yeah, so what makes great typography great? Okay.
What
And-
makes
Mhm.
what makes great typography great?
Okay, so how do you make it great? Varying the amount of space between different letter combinations. Okay, Dial, let's read once.
I learn about
Okay, Dial, here, learn, L 발음.
learn.
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 Okay,
Learn.
해봐. I learned about.
I learned about.
Learned about.
I learned about
Uh-huh.
about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between the different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great.
Yes. About what makes가 아니고 what makes 해봐. What makes.
Where is
What
what makes?
Yeah, what makes. One makes라고 발음하면 안 돼. What makes.
What makes?
Okay. Julie, your turn.
I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what make great typography great.
Yeah, typography.
Typography.
Okay. All right. Let's see. John, go ahead and read again.
I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces. Typefaces about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations. About what makes great typography great.
Typography, great.
Typography great.
Okay. All right, Dial. This is a difficult sentence, so we're going to go over again. Go ahead, Dial.
Over.
I learned about
serif and sans serif typeface, about varying the amount of space between different letter combination, about what makes great typography, great.
Okay, good. So now everybody unmute and we say that together. Everybody unmute, John and Julie. Okay, go ahead, say it together. Go.
I
I
learned
learned
about
about
serif and
and
serif
translating typefaces,
typefaces, about
about
varying the
the amount
amount
of
of
space
space
between different
between
letter
different letter
combinations,
combinations,
about what makes
about
great
what makes
typography great.
typography great.
Okay, you're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, we're gonna come back to this today, but for now, let's move on. Okay, John, could you read the second sentence?
It was beautiful, historical, artistically, oh,
Subtle. B 발음 안 해. Subtle.
subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it
Fascinating.
fast,
Fascinating.
fascinating,
Fascinating.
fascinating.
Fascinating. Okay. Subtle. Fascinating. Artistically subtle. 해봐. Artistically subtle.
Artistically subtle.
Okay. And Julie, your turn. Can you read?
It was beautiful, historical,
Historical.
artist,
Artistically
artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating.
fascinating.
Fascinated.
Fascinating. Fascinating. 해봐.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
Fascinated.
Fascinating. 해봐.
Fascinated.
Fascinating. 해봐.
Fascinated.
Fascinating.
Fascinated.
Fascinating.
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 그렇지. Fascinating.
Fascinating.
Okay, John. Fascinating.
Fascinating.
And Tile. Fascinating.
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 Okay, John. Tile, your turn.
It was beautiful, historical, artistically thorough in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating.
Good. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can capture. And I found it fascinating. John, read it again.
It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating.
Science can't capture. Okay? accent 그가 강조를 can't 해야지. capture를 못 한다는 거야. In a way that science can capture. Read it again.
In a way that science can't capture.
And I found it fascinating.
And I found it fascinating.
All right, Julie.
It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating.
그렇지. Yeah, so when you see this line, that means you need to breathe. 숨을 쉬어야지, 여기서. Okay? So 다시, 자, 다시 한번 읽어보자.
It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle,
숨
in
쉬고,
a
숨
in
쉬고.
in
Artistically
a
subtle 해봐.
artistically subtle
Subtle. And 그 다음에
in a way that science can't capture.
yes.
And I found it fascinating. Fascinating.
Good. I found it fascinating 해봐.
I found it
fascinating.
fascinating.
I found it fascinating.
I found it fascinating.
Okay, good. Tile.
It was beautiful, historical, artistically thorough in a way that science can't capture, and found it
Fascinating.
fascinating.
Good. Very good. Okay. And then John, let's read the last sentence, okay?
None of this had even a hope of any practical practical application in my life.
Okay. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. Okay. Julie.
None of this had even a hope of any
Practical.
plastical application in my life.
Practical.
Practical.
Practical. Any practical application.
Any practical application.
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 Okay. None of this. Okay. Kyle, read.
None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life.
Good. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. Okay, John, one more time. John?
None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life.
application 아니고 and에 짧게 약하게 application in my life.
Application in my life.
오케이. 자, 요번 문장이 좀 어렵지, 그지? 그러니까 리코딩을 오늘 끝나자마자 다시 한번 올리도록 하자. 오케이? 그래야지만 기억에 남는 거니까. 오케이. We're done.
Yes. Thank you.